Hey everyone, ABA 411. I'm your behavior analyst, John, and I'm going to go over with you today how to fill out the ABC narrative form or recorder. And as I pull back my closet door to reveal the first set of information we're going to go over, key here in filling out ABC narrative form is to start moving towards a mindset of looking at the behaviors, looking at the environment objectively, meaning we need to observe for everything physical taking place, actions, changes, in very descriptive language. So it can't be subjective, like talking about feelings, talking about thoughts. We don't really know that, right? Except we can see, though, and anybody reading maybe our narration of what's happening can picture what's happening as they read very precise words on describing the behavior and changes to the environment. So that's observable, and all that's really supported even more so by adding in measurable terms. Things like duration, frequency, magnitude, using a scale to describe a behavior's intensity. I'll get to that in a second as I just go back really quickly to observable. Johnny Jr. with a closed fist is striking teacher in the face. I think as I write that down, and anybody reading that could pretty much visualize what Johnny Jr. is doing as a behavior that needs changed. Well, what else to the behavior? Oh, okay, I got some measurable stuff in here. Johnny Jr. is striking teacher in the face 5 times in an incident, in an occurrence of the behavior. How do we know it's 5 times? Well, there's a sound being emitted and something that you can also visually see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times in an incident or in an event. Yep, there's a sound, and then there's something I could see too. Contact made, release. And that's one instance, right? In ABA we say one response. Well, those are distinct stop points to an instance, so that suits the frequency. Counting for frequency of the behavior. If it's say something like that's not really maybe so much as a behavior that suits a frequency count. If it keeps going, I switch it over after a few seconds to counting for duration. I'm going to use language like seconds, minutes, hours, because even though maybe there's a distinct start and stop point to something that's happening over a prolonged period of time, the fact that it's happening for minutes should warrant the use of duration. Descriptors. Magnitude. I like to use, working in the past with physically aggressive kiddos, scale of 1 to 4. So, well, I could say 1 to 4, but it doesn't really mean anything unless I assign some kind of descriptor to each numeric value. So 1 would be no harm caused, because no pain is felt by is experienced by the other person. No markings, no bruisings, nothing. No medical attention required. 2, okay, contact is made, pain is experienced. How do I know that? Maybe they said ow. No markings, no bruisings, no real medical attention required. Just be careful with that one because, of course, concussions you can't see, but they're real. 3, okay, ow, and there's a bruise, and some medical attention required maybe. And 4 would be blood drawn, person is knocked out, 911 is called because major medical attention is required. Okay, somebody's safety was compromised in that instance, and that's a 4 for intensity or magnitude to the behavior. So Johnny strikes teacher in the face 5 times with a magnitude of 4 because teacher now is laid out on the floor and paraeducators calling 911 or the first response, and Johnny then probably, is being restrained at the moment. Hopefully things never have to come to that. So, um, I hope through that demonstration how working with the ABC narrative form, how you can capture a behavior, all the things that are happening in the environment in observable, measurable terms. And we're going to get into another example in a second here, but I'm just going to talk about how I confront basically the ABC narrative form. I go right for the behavior. I can't sit there and document things that are happening thinking that those are all going to be setups or triggers to the behavior if the behavior doesn't occur. So I have to wait until something is happening, and then I shoot right for the behavior, because I want to depict exactly what other people should be able to see when working with this individual. What behavior do I see? And maybe it's something that you would see too. Physical action. Then what happens right after the behavior? What is the outcome that behavior produced? And then I go back and describe what was the setup and likely the trigger for the behavior too. Setup is, as I say, setting event, or as in ABA we say setting event. Things like you woke up too early, you skipped breakfast, you had a flat on the way to work. Yeah, that probably sets you up to being pretty irked later if somebody said the wrong thing, which then could be the trigger, and then you start shouting at everybody because it's a lousy day, right? Well, so for in this, I would give the example of like, well, what's the behavior I see for, say, Johnny again? Johnny, and another example is scaling some shelves in class where there are fruit snacks being kept. What is the consequence? Maybe the adults around the classroom ignored him, thinking later in finding out that maybe they thought that giving Johnny attention is what really kind of makes the behavior keep happening or makes it worse. And then ultimately he was able to get the fruit snacks. He attained them. Well, the setup to that, Johnny hadn't eaten in 6 hours. Maybe the trigger then is that the fruit snacks came into view. Right, so that could qualify, will likely qualify as a change in the environment, because if I'm watching Johnny closely, I'm watching him then scan the room. There it is on top of the shelf, some fruit snacks, because I'm feeling hungry. I myself as Johnny don't have to say a word to anybody. Somebody's watching me, can see what I'm doing. Oh, fruit snacks, okay, and then behavior, climb the shelves, get those fruit snacks. Consequence, eat those fruit snacks. Awesome. I was triggered by seeing those fruit snacks. I was set up by being hungry. We're going to get into the functions now, because that's what we're really going to be after. I hope you can see that. We're using the SEAT acronym, S-E-A-T. S for sensory. Could be satisfactory or satisfying to the senses. Might often not require any outside reinforcement mediated by another person. I like to pop my knuckles to relieve the tension in my fingers. But if my back is feeling kind of sore and I need a rub, I'm going to probably seek some help for that. So a lot of times that's still very much automatically reinforced just within the person themselves. Escape. These are your fight, flight, freeze behaviors. Like, I'm going to avoid your demand, escape it by fighting back. Or I'm just going to take off. I'm going to elope. I'm going to just flight or flee. Or I don't know what to do here. I don't want to quite run away, but I'm just... right, freeze. Okay. So, are they still avoiding that that demand that was part of the antecedent to that behavior? So, that's the escape function right there. Attention. Basically any kind of verbal feedback from somebody else. or even physical feedback, right? High fives, fist bumps, okay? That's getting some attention there. There are a lot of kiddos or adults, individuals out there that really like attention, and I wanted to do a video on this channel on why people troll on social media. Very much attention maintained. Tangible. Any physical object that can be held or, basically, acquired. Edibles, toys, books, right? So that's all tangible. These two are basically this attain function to acquire something. Attention or tangibles. Alright, so we're going to get right into the form. It's already kind of pre-filled out. And again, I'm just going to erase this. Nothing is... Oh, I have it. I'm not scanning for anything that's happening before the behavior, but I'm certainly going to start jotting things down as soon as something is happening. What's happening right after that behavior could serve as another antecedent to the next occurrence of either the same behavior or the same behavior with a new behavior or a different behavior. Consequence, consequence. I'm going to keep going in this fashion, right? Moving right into behavior. Still nothing in the antecedent. This is one event. Final consequence. The dust has settled. Nothing is happening anymore. I go right back up here and I, through recall mostly, what happened just before that? Johnny had gone without food for 6 hours. Saw the fruit snacks. Yep, that matches pretty well. Behavior, yeah, scaled those shelves, got the fruit snacks. Was ignored. Maybe right here as he went at it again. He was still hungry. Or for something else. Maybe something that belonged to the teacher. That was the... Nope, that's a line for the teacher. Got some attention. Johnny, get down. No, Johnny continued to maybe uttered something unpleasant to the teacher. Teacher grabbed Johnny and pulled him off the shelf. Okay. Johnny just went back to his seat then. Nothing else happened. But maybe he was satisfied with that little bit he got. So, event's over. Fill in that line, that first cell. Okay, nothing else is happening for a few minutes. I would say anywhere from like 5 and more minutes between events. Oh, here we go again. Johnny's doing something again. Consequence, more behaviors. Another consequence, could be the same consequence too. Another behavior, final consequence, all done. All right, what happened there? What triggered that? What set it up? Okay, but if it's like, I would say within 2-3 minutes, maybe up to 5 minutes apart, maybe it's all still part of the same event. That's really left up to your discretion. So, but if it's really close enough within instances, could be really still part of the same event, right? Johnny wasn't really quite done helping himself to some snacks. Whether it was, it wasn't gonna. His teachers couldn't stop him from helping himself to getting more food. So, I hope that's clear. One page could be 5 minutes worth of things happening. I fill pages out on just anything like within 10-15 minutes of many behaviors happening, because that's how intense, how frequent, how many behaviors the individual knew. I worked with one person that would spit, laugh at you, hit you, and run around, give you the chase. All kinds of behaviors, would attack others, all within the same 10 minutes, because ultimately they were trying to avoid something, right? And also get your attention. So, multiple functions, all within a short amount of time. So just be wary of that. And that's why we really emphasize, and that's why I circled and underlined behavior here, because we're really going after this. Everything is happening around this. It works back and forth with the antecedent and the consequence, and the consequence and the antecedent are often tied together, right? Those fruit snacks became the consequence as well as the antecedent. They came into view. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Good luck out there. And again, this is mostly for those that I would have a formal agreement with, that I would be working directly with. Hopefully this is going to give you some good start points on how to fill out that form so that we can get to an intervention more effectively. And for those of you that I'm not working with, well, good luck out there. Hopefully this is just for your entertainment purposes. So thanks for joining me on this one, and look out for some more in the future, and I'll see you then. Thanks.